Hey, what's up everybody? It's me, I'm back. Today I'm going to be reviewing the VUP armband that I got off Amazon for like 17 bucks. Gonna be talking about this today. Before I get started though, as usual, if you would please, if you like this video, hit that like button, maybe even the subscribe button while you're there so I can keep popping out more of these videos. So I bought this because I've got an iPhone 8. This is actually the case to the iPhone 8. I'm recording with my iPhone now. But this is about the general size of my iPhone 8. So when I'm at the gym and I'm doing anything, but especially doing cardio, my phone is usually in my pocket. But the problem is with the bigger phones especially, they're heavy for one, especially if you've got a case on it, right? But they also tend to shift positions in my pocket depending on what I'm doing. So I'll slide it in my pocket like this, but then somehow it ends up turning sideways, and then I got this weird bulge coming out the side of my pants, which is never a good look at the gym, or anywhere for that matter.
Then I've got this weird bulge coming out in my pocket, which is a weird thing to have at the gym under any circumstances.
So what I thought I would do, because I've also been doing so much more outside cardio and running lately, is give one of these a try to see, like, well, if it's on my arm, does that help me any, right? Is it worth it to buy, you know, something like this? So this was 17 bucks, just under $17 on Amazon. I'll put the link to this down below in the description. And a lot of the reason that I end up buying this one specifically, one is it says that it will do basically any phone created under man. There's a whole list of different phones that it's compatible with. And the reason it's compatible with that is because it's just like it's like a rubber piece, right? So both ends of this are rubber. So what ends up happening is, depending on your phone size, again, this is the case on an iPhone 8 Plus, and so what I'll do is it just goes around the sides like this, right? And so the question is well, first off, does it actually fit my phone? Unless you've got a bigger phone than a Plus, I don't know what you're using, but you know, it does. It works on here, looks fine, kind of whatever. So, but a lot of the reason that I bought this one specifically was because it kind of has this cool feature, so that if the band is on your arm as such, you know, you need to check something on your phone, you could boop, 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 and turn it in a direction instead of trying to kind of read it upside down or whatever. So those were the reasons I bought it. One, it was cheap, which I always like. Two, it had a lot of reviews, and they were good reviews, I also like. And three, I like that idea of the spinning thing. So a couple things I noticed whenever I first bought this, I first opened this. One is, it seems like it's good quality, right? Like it's got almost like a leather type consistency on parts of this. The rest of it's kind of like a Velcro. It's the actual case is trying to see if I can see there. It's actually just hinged in the middle. There's one place where this actually connects on the phone, and that's what allows it to do the spinning thing. I'll come back to that in a second because that becomes important. But the actual quality of the band, even the inside of the band, it's almost like, I don't think it's leather, but it's nice. The whole thing feels constructed very, very nicely. So, you know, you attach it as such, the piece goes through here, then you can just put your arm in, like that, and you tighten it up to however you want to tighten it up. So here's what I've realized about not just this band, but armbands in general. One is, if you have a larger phone, right? I mean, that's pretty big. So I'm 6'3", almost 6'4". I have longer arms, but this one goes from pretty much here about my shoulder down to almost my elbow. That can cause a problem, I've realized, if you're doing workouts. You have to be very specific on where you position this, especially with larger phones. So right here I can do, you know, curls if I wanted to, right? Which is fine. So I've got good motion. I can run like this, right? It's not in my way. Even with this big case attached to this and it's heavy, I can still do this. Here's what I can't do. If I spin this, there's really no good angle for this part of it because the phone's still facing up. I can try to turn my arm like this and try to really get a good angle, but what I basically have to do is I kind of have to push down on it to actually be able to see it. And that's whenever it's out here, right? I could turn it inwards a little bit more, because now I can definitely see it much easier, right? It's right here. But then the problem becomes mobility, because if my phone's here, it's now on the top of my bicep. I can't do a curl. I could probably still run like this, but it's hitting this part. So I can't put it here, so I can't use that function, which means I have to keep it somewhere on the outside of my arm. So I'm trying to find a good place. It took me several times to try to find a position that I could put it that wouldn't interfere with anything I was doing, right? But that also, if I spun it, I could at least get a decent glimpse. It's not a great view. So there's a little bit of this weird angle thing. Now, if your phone is smaller, you won't have that same problem. Part of my issue here is because of the size of my phone, I have to put it on the outside of my arm pretty far. If it was smaller, I could actually probably put it a little bit closer. But regardless, I talked to my wife about this because she's had one of these as well with a much smaller phone. And she said she had the same issue, which is there's really no good angle where this becomes extremely useful, right? Because look, even like this, if I spin it, it's facing that way. I can't see it looking down, it's facing you. You're really gonna have to kind of work at it to get it to where you can see it. But it does technically work. It's just not the great feature that I thought it was going to end up being. One of the other things that I didn't like about this particular band was, indeed, the way that it actually connects here, where it's sort of like just a center piece. Because with a heavier phone especially, what I noticed was as I was running, I could feel my phone doing this, right? Kind of bouncing back and forth. I wished that there was a way that it could be connected here at the top and then here at the bottom as well, something that gave it a little bit more stability. It doesn't throw me off. It's not like it ruins it for me, but it's definitely noticeable whenever I am running. Again, I think with smaller phones or lighter weight phones, you won't have that same problem. It won't be as heavy, it won't be as jarring, but I don't even put this case on whenever I go out running. I just take my phone out of the case. And just the iPhone 8 Plus itself is still heavy enough that it kind of jumps around and I can feel it on my arm. Having said all that, what I found was it really does latch nicely. It did not really move much. It moved a little bit once I would go out and work out. In other words, it would kind of shift down slightly. The weight of my phone would do that, but not very much. You know, it always kind of settled into a comfortable position. You know, for me, again, it's well made. It is versatile because it will be able to work with a whole bunch of different phone sizes. And it did the thing that I wanted it to do, which was it got the phone out of my pocket and put it into somewhere that was more manageable. Yes, it's a little bit of a bummer that this doesn't end up being as great as I thought it was going to be, but in the end, I don't care as much because really, even if it stays like this, I'm fine with that because it does what I wanted it to do, which was getting it out of my pants so I could hopefully avoid some of those weird gym situations where my pants got a little bit lumpy looking, right? And so would I recommend the VUP Armband for $17 on Amazon? Yeah, I would, and I would say you should do so with sort of thinking like this is just you know, a luxury. If it ends up working fine, you know, whatever. But ultimately, the band is made to be able to put your listening device or your phone or your tracker or whatever on your arm and do it comfortably and be well made. And I think that it is all those things. So yes, I would recommend dropping 17 bones on this, and they have a couple of different colors as well. Again, I'll put the link in the description down below. So hopefully this was helpful for you all. I'd be curious your experiences with this, or if you decide to get this. You know, I'll probably buy another one just because, oh, I just realized, look, there's a little thing that says headphones. I guess that's it's like a little pocket of some sort. Oh yeah, look, my finger goes through there. I guess it's some sort of a, well, that just made it all worth it. The little, I'm not sure what that's for quite yet, but it's for something because it's got a headphone thing. Oh, look, it's got a key place too where you can put your key. Well, tickle my belly. So anyways, 17 bucks, worth it. Get it. And hope this was helpful for you all. See you later.